how you doing, guys? This is a continuation of the last video I did on the camber adjustment on the Focus, and I just want to say I made a mistake with that video and I've taken things too far. If you've seen the other videos on the channel, you'll know that I like to do most of the work on the cars myself, as long as it's not something repetitive or something, you know, extremely difficult that needs specialist tools. Everything else I like to do myself, especially if it's something custom, and especially if it's something to do with the electrical system or something like that. That personally I like to do myself. So the last video was about the camber adjustment on the Focus, and I think that video was a mistake. It's all very well me doing the work on the car myself, but there are limits to what you can do, and I touched on it there, like the super difficult stuff which maybe needs specialist tools, for example like a cam chain replacement. Wheel alignment is definitely one of those things. So while in that last video adjusting the camber, it did make the car better than what it was, it's not really, I don't think, like a wheel alignment. I think it's a step too far. I've taken too much on there. That is not really something that I think you can do DIY. You can do it DIY if you've got the equipment, but the equipment, it tends to be very expensive. It needs to be set up properly, and honestly, for how often you're going to be doing it, I don't think it's worth the investment in the money and the time to do it. I mean, you can do it with sort of hand tools. You can get the car leveled out. I mean, I think you can do it at home if you want to, but it is a lot of work compared to someone that's got an alignment shop where you can just drive the car in, they can bolt the things onto the car, and basically they're up and running in what, 5-10 minutes, and that's going to be super accurate. They're doing that a lot, so they're going to be faster. I think a DIY wheel alignment, it's a nice idea, but personally I'm not going to do it again. It's not worth it, and I think you know, the professionals are going to do a better job like on that specific thing. For sure you could argue, yeah, but some garages are better than others, and sometimes they don't do a good job, they don't take their time with things. Yeah, for sure, I agree with you there. I think if you find a half decent alignment shop, they're going to do a decent job. So why am I saying all this? Well, basically, like I said, I did the camber on the car. It was better than what it was, but it's still not there. And really, well, I think when you're doing the wheel alignment, I think it needs to be fucking balls on. It needs to be accurate, or it's not worth really taking the time to do it, because you still, you know, we're talking 1 or 2 degrees, and that's enough to be out. So I did the video, I made it better, but the car was still not right. So I was thinking, okay, maybe it comes back to that Camber problem, and the dampers were at fault. But anyway, the car needed some tie rod end links changing anyway. The rear wheel bearings needed changing anyway. I tried the tie rods and it looked like they were freaking seized on, so I wasn't going to take the car out of action for this, you know, by rounding it off. Give that to the professional. I mean, it's a tie rod end, they must see loads of them. The wheel bearing at the rear, another specialist job with a press. I would get a press if I was pushing out wheel bearings all day long, but very rarely do I need to do that, so I'm not going to be investing in a press anytime soon. So anyway, I had those 2 jobs to do. They're kind of related to the wheel alignment, so I thought, give that job to the garage. They can take it to their wheel alignment guy, and they can do it all while they've got it. While they've got the car, they can get all the alignment sorted for me as well. So as I said, I did that wheel alignment. I made it better in the last video. It felt better on the road, it looked better, but I knew it wasn't right. It wasn't quite right, and I think it was something to do with toe, and I didn't, like I said, I didn't want to get into it. I come back to the start of this video, why I made a mistake in the last video. DIY a wheel alignment, I don't think it's such a thing. It's, I think, better just to pay somebody to go to a shop. If you're at a race team on track days, you're adjusting the alignment regularly, then okay, then it is a DIY job. But if you're going to be going to a track day and adjusting your camber, your toe and your caster at the track, then I think you're also going to be buying equipment that makes your life easy to do it. So what happened? So as I said, I took the car to the garage, I let him do it all, and it came back to me. To be honest, to the eye, I thought that maybe it still wasn't right, but I spoke to the garage that did it, and he assured me that it's not perfect. So again, I come back to, in my opinion, probably the carburetor damper issue. He said it's close, it was work to get it all set up, but it's close enough that it makes no difference, but it's not 100%, but it's not noticeable. So that brings me back to driving the car. Now it's done the alignment, and day and night, I thought in the dry, I thought it was good before. But now it's on a completely different level. The car, I can feel that the seats are not supportive enough. I can put a lot more force through the seats. Maybe the balance is around the same, but just the general force, cornering forces, it's much higher. And driving in the wet, it was better in the wet, but that's when it was most obvious that the alignment wasn't 100%, was in the wet. You could tell it wasn't. It should be better. And now with the alignment, with these tires, with the Michelin Cross Climate 2s, it's not exactly the same, but it's almost as if like driving in the wet is like driving in the dry. It's not the same, but hopefully you get what I mean. It's fantastic in the wet now, where it was iffy before. I thought it was just, you know, it's wet, the road surface is not great, but no, apparently not. It just needed a freaking alignment. So I'm just going to bring it back right to the beginning again. The mistake I made of trying to do as much as possible myself. I think sometimes I've just got to say, be realistic about what you're trying to do. What is involved? How much is it going to cost to do it properly or easily with the correct tools? How often you're going to be doing it? And then just be honest with I just need to be honest with myself. Is it worth doing it myself? And the answer is, the alignment is absolutely not. I made a mistake there. I've been adjusting it for a while, like 6 months, you know, and I've lost 6 months of performance there when I should have just taken it to get alignment at the start. The car is just so much different than what it was before. It's amazing now. I tell you what it reminded me of, my situation was, if you watch LLF, Living Life Fast, he had an S2 on there once, a black S2 coupe with a guy from Eastern Europe. I don't remember exactly which country he was from. And Ricky was saying that the car was all over the place, and I think the driver, the guy that owned the car, said he did the alignment himself. And I thought, that's me. That's the mistake I've made. The guy is, you know, built the engine, he's done the gearbox, he's he's a super engineer, but I think he went too far by trying to do the alignment himself, and he's not getting the he wasn't getting the best out of the car, because Ricky said it was all over the shop. If you're not going to spend the money on the equipment, I don't care how competent you are as an engineer, it's just not worth it. Just take it to an alignment shop. You're not giving up, you're not conceding. It's just the right thing to do with something super specialist like alignment. I just wanted to continue on from the last video, and I think I made it sound like it's something you should do yourself, but I haven't done it. Now I know what it feels like after the alignment, I know it's not. So that's the video, guys. Look after yourselves, and I'll see you again in the next one.